Yes, Taurus, this one is for you. Thank you for visiting Terra Lumination. That's Terra Lumination. This is your love and relationship report for you, Taurus, for October 2017. We're going to make the best of it. You know the drill. You've probably done it before. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising. All of that, because that's the convention in this tarot world, apparently. So why mess with it? It seems to work well enough. Then just want you to know we're shuffling to the last second, so you're a witness. No jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, no reversals. Don't have time for all of that right now. We're just going to keep it simple. We're going to let the story tell itself. And we're reading with a crucible spread here on the understanding that there's you, Taurus, there's a significant other, and then there's a third party called the relationship that has a life identity and structure of its own. And the relationship itself could be described as the crucible in which the both of you or the parties conduct themselves. And in a really loving, healthy relationship, the crucible is very strong. Both parties invest in the relationship and conduct themselves through the relationship for the spiritual health and evolution of yourself and the other. So it's very satisfying when it works. All right, Taurus, let's see what's going on. We're well shuffled here. And if you're singles, by the way, we're going to do a totally separate playlist. Don't you worry. That'll be coming up a little bit later. I'm going to chunk that in half. I'm going to chunk that in half just to see what happens. All right, let's just go for it. All right. So this is going to be you and your energy. All right, Taurus, over here. This is going to be a significant other here, a chosen one, a chosen relationship. This is a chosen relationship, okay? It's not haphazard. This is deliberate. This is by choice. Now, we're going to go deep into you here, Taurus. We're going to go deep into the other over here. And then we're going to go into the relationship itself here. And you can already see the shape of the crucible. This is the bowl, and the crucible is a very, very, very tough container in which tremendous alchemical pressures can occur without blowing up the container. So, in all relationship, there's always intimacy and separation, moments of joy and sorrow, and all of that. And that has to, in order to endure, you have to be able to allow for all of that to happen. It's not just about having, a honeymoon all day, every day, that kind of energy. It's a serious long-term reality check type of energy where once you get to the bare bones aspects of yourselves and each other, you're going to find out everything about yourselves and each other that you don't really like. But that's what needs revealing for healing, okay? So let's see where the momentum goes here. This is just for October. We're going to come out with something else in November. We'll see. We're going to look down here in a moment for the weather. This is kind of energy that might be permeating the situation. It might be a reflection of the relationship. It might be conditions, circumstances out there that are impacting the relationship. Let's have a look. Okay, well, the Ten of Swords has come up quite a lot in these reports for this month. So don't stress, Taurus, it's not just you. The Ten of Swords can actually be a real sense of relief here, where there's kind of a growing realization for you, Taurus, that it's the end of the end when it comes to all this massive unending pain and suffering that you might have endured for a very long time, and it just has accumulated and accumulated up and up and up and over to the point where it's taken you down to the point you can't get any worse. So the only way forward from here is up. In other words, the only way out is through. But I think this is indicating that you already understand that, because you can see very clearly the beautiful new sunrise in the distance and the clear ocean beyond. And it's just having to accept that, with all these swords here, it's so overpowering in so many ways, and it looks so devastating, it's so frightening. And yes, you may have reached an end point in your own life as a person, not necessarily the relationship itself, but where you realize that it's not healthy or sustainable to continue this way anymore, and that things have to change for the better. They can only get better from here because the only way out is through. So it means living through October, living through the relationship, however it's going to play out here, on the understanding that it's going to get better. Okay, it's really, really good to understand and become aware of those energies, by the way, because when these are hidden and they're denied and ignored, that's when you have the real problems. This is very simple. It's very, very evident. It's very clear, and it can't get any worse. So that's good to know. Let's have a look. Let's go in. Let's start the reading. Here we go, Taurus. Let's have a look at you. Wow. So you might be having a kind of, in way, some kind of fun right now by allowing yourself to dream, allowing yourself to, let's say, release yourself from any agonies and sufferings and anguish from accumulated stress over, let's say, a long period of time. Okay. Maybe it's even before this relationship ever existed. And where you realize, wow, I have a right to dream. I have a right to, imagine beautiful, wonderful things. I have a right to, let's say, not this, I don't want to say fantasize, but I have a right to, let's say, what's that word? Creative visualization. And so what might be happening is that you are Taurus and you're realizing, wow, since it's the end of the way things that you've known, and you're probably deep down aware from weather conditions, like smelling it somewhere in the weather, you might not be able to see it very clearly or feel it very clearly or know it very clearly, but something in the pit of your heart tells you that there's a beautiful new horizon ahead for you. And that can trigger the energy of like, oh my gosh, I knew this was going to happen one day. I can smell it. I don't know when or how it's going to happen, but it inspires that dream energy to come to the surface where you can, let's say, start to tap into your dreams, your wishes, your desires, your all those things you've ever wanted in a loving relationship, and start defining them in terms of ingredients. Well, oh, I'd love a bit of that. And wouldn't it be awesome if we could mix some of that in there and maybe some of that, swirl it around and then have a bit of this over here and that over here. And that would be so wonderful. That's what I would really like to happen as the new Taurus coming out of all of this, because again, I really want to emphasize the beautiful horizon there. Okay. And so it's almost like it's a turn on. It's just like, oh my gosh, I get to almost indulge in my dreams a little bit. You can start penciling things out. Oh, what happens if we do this? Oh, what happens if we do that? Dear journal, I am Taurus, and I'm writing down all the things that I would love to happen in my loving relationship now going forward, because I know I have to do that. That's all there is to it. So please, dear divine inspiration, come down into my life, come into my world, please. The healing power of love, love in all its magnificent, wonderful forms, please now enter my life. I ask for the healing power of love to fill my body from up above. I ask for the healing power of love to fill my mind from up above. I ask for the healing power of love to fill my heart from up above. I ask for the healing power of love to fill my soul from up above. So it is spoken, so it is done. Whoof, poof. And then just see what happens, okay? Wow, I got a bit carried away there, Taurus, sorry. Let's have a look here. What's going on with the significant other? Oh boy. Aren't you the lucky one, Taurus? Wow. I'm happy for you, Taurus. I don't know what you're doing or how you're doing it, but you seem to have some kind of magical gift going on here where you seem to be attracting the love that you really, really want, the love that you really need, the love that you really, really deserve in its purest form. Maybe not be there right now, but it's blossoming. It might be extremely new. It might be very, very fresh, and you can feel it. You can feel it up in heaven, and it's slowly starting to manifest in your life, in your world, as the real thing. And there it is, right there in all its glory, the beautiful little Two of Cups. Pure, pure love. This is like the pure love that is indestructible. Uh, it's it's very divine. It's very blessed. It's very pure. It's in some ways it's very fragile too. It's like it's like the love of two children. That first time when a child understands the energy of feeling that way for another person, and they suddenly meet another person who feels that way for them. It's an incredibly powerful memory that can be with you for life when you have that and you feel that, oh my gosh, this is what it's like to encounter that soulmate, that pure, pure love soulmate. And so, Taurus, however you're doing it here, I don't know how you're doing it, but you must be tuning into the world of, let's say, divine magic to make all this happen, and it seems to be working for you in some weird and wonderful way. Um, Maybe you're just praying for that to happen. I feel like there's a lot of energy of prayer here and wishing and dreaming and asking for those energies to come into your life without putting any preconditions on any of it. Like, dear heaven, just show me, just bring me this thing that I love and that I want. Bring me this. Bring me the Two of Cups. Whoever it is, however it is. And guess what? They're there. They've just literally like landed. Wow. Now, this might be a newly rekindled version of something that's already existing in your life, in your world, Taurus. Or it could be that you are already in the early stages of a very beautiful, profound, new loving relationship that is really only just begun. But you know it's the real deal. You know it's this. You really, really, really know it. Okay? Now, of course, it's still in some ways very much up in the clouds right now, which is fine. Maybe we need to come down to earth a little bit, but let's not mess this up. This is so rare. This is so beautiful. Um, Gosh, I'm kind of blown away for you, Taurus. Thank you so much. Let's have a look deep inside of you. What's going on? Oh ho! Wow, look at all these love cup cards here, Taurus. Maybe this is like it's almost like whether you're male or female, forget it, just in terms of gender. Let's just say if you're a girl, this is like being a little girl again, or if you're a guy, this is like being a little boy. And it's just like it's the first time as a little boy that you fall in love. And it's very pure and sweet. And if you're like a little, when you're an adult woman, then this is the feeling of like true love. You've discovered it for the first time in your youthful innocence, like the little girl who's just had her first major love, but it isn't just it's the real deal, and then suddenly realizing in adult form, oh my gosh, this is the real deal. But it does kind of have a lot of energy of innocence here. And now that you have, let's just say, dear Taurus, that you have attracted this almost ideal mate here. We're not going to let it go to your head and get you completely looped out into the clouds. We need to come down to earth a little bit here and settle things down more into a grounded way of being. Can you see that here? Where you bring this beautiful, beautiful, see, that's even, some people think of that as a very symbolic of healing, where you might be in a very loving relationship, Taurus, where you're just starting to realize literally the healing power of love, what it really, really means when you bring that much love into a relationship that is that pure. You become awakened to how naive and immature you might have been all along, up to this point. Like you might have already had a very firm understanding and belief system of what love is. And now we're discovering in October that, whoa, there's a whole other level that's out there. And it might be very beautiful, might be very spiritual, might be very divine, and that's fine. And it might be very pure, it might be innocent, it might mean that you have a lot to learn here, but that could be a very beautiful journey. It could be a really amazing, let's say, experience for you. It's almost like starting from scratch again. and admitting that, well, maybe I didn't know it all at first the way I thought I did, but we're going to find out now for sure, because there's no way you would ever let this go. Once you got this in your life, in your world, Taurus, you don't ever let that go, okay? This is like gold. This is worth more than gold, okay? So, wow, it's beautiful. It's like two as one, okay? So let's have a look at, so what's going on inside of them? Whoa. I'll just tell you what I felt, okay, Taurus? To me, it feels like in their own sweet, innocent way, they might not be shouting it out, or maybe they are, or maybe it's very evident. As far as they're concerned, they've scored. They have scored big time with you, Taurus. And that in turn turns into gold for them, where they feel like they are wealthier than they could ever have possibly imagined in their life before. Now, again, let's bring it down to earth here. But luckily, it seems that Taurus, you might be relating to someone who has those qualities. Not only the qualities of being a really, really good mate for you in the very most loving way imaginable, affection, compassion, respect, intimacy, love, caring, patience, endurance, all the qualities of a really good, solid, long-term loving relationship. And it shows, it's evident in three-dimensional reality. I'm actually really glad this card showed up over here, because we needed to bring some of this energy down to earth. Taurus, you do represent the earth and the solid matter of reality. And you might have been getting so dizzy and up in the clouds here that even for a Taurus, something had to happen where we had to bring you down to earth here. And luckily, you might be dealing with someone here who has that capacity. They may not actually do that themselves. They may not be very grounded themselves, but they are conducting themselves as if they have full sovereignty of the three-dimensional realms, and they have all the best of intentions for you, Taurus, for the relationship, or for themselves, because for them to radiate this energy of the Two of Cups, uh, they've probably had to go through innumerable lifetimes and perhaps unbearable, crushing pain to get to the point of complete surrender to the most pure form of love that there is, and to be able to conduct that in their being. So that's just their natural way of being. And that's actually pretty rare. So I'm really happy for you, Taurus. And what that does, because they now feel as though they are in the right place at the right time with the right person for the right reason, they can allow themselves to indulge a little bit, and like pat themselves on their shoulders and go, wow, I really got lucky here. I don't know if I had anything to do with this. Maybe they just magicked me into their life, and now I'm here. I'm with them, they're with me. And you know what? It feels effing awesome. Feel like I've scored big time, and we're going to make the best of it. We're going to turn this into the real deal, long term, high value, and like they're going to give it everything they've got. This is the King of Pentacles is not here just by accident. The King of Pentacles, if you can see, like the boot here of the warrior, and these very fine clothes. The King of Pentacles knows what has to be done in order to create stability and maintain stability, not just for themselves, but for their dominion, their world, their life, their loved ones, some way, form, or another. And they might be like this pulsing, beautiful, simple beacon of love, but it actually starts to manifest more and more and more as the evidence of love, the expressions of love in terms of love is as love does, so that it becomes something very tangible, very valuable, very solid, and very real that they bring to the relationship, okay, for you. Because you might be, for all your groundedness, Taurus, you might be just one of those Tauruses who's way up there in the clouds, And maybe you needed a reality check type of relationship situation like this to bring some harmony and balance and stability. I'm personally, as Tarot Illumination, I'm kind of envious of you, Taurus. I think this is really beautiful. Let's keep going. Let's just see what happens. By the way, I want to reference the Ten of Swords again. It could also indicate that the significant other over here in this chosen relationship is also very much aware in ways you might not be. They might be very much more aware of the dynamics of the situation than you, Taurus, and it allows them to be very confident and stable and solid this way and express their love in a very pure way. That's very much to do with healing. Some people see this symbol here as the sign of healing. It's one of the ultimate symbols of healing, in which case a lot of these swords are literally going to fall by the wayside, and we're going to focus much more heavily on a new life and new future ahead, where a lot of this is going to be redundant and irrelevant. The like being the pincushion in life is no longer acceptable. It's very much about a mutually loving, supportive relationship. Let's have a look at the core. See? Balance. Balance, balance, balance. Bringing things down to earth in ways that work. I'm so happy for you, Taurus, because I really, really felt the need to. I didn't want to force it. I know I'm not going to push the story where I think it wants to go. I'm just going to call the story out as it seems to want to be told, like a movie. I don't know where the story goes. I didn't see that card earlier. All I'm sensing here now is that the relationship itself is providing you, Taurus, with a tremendous sense of balance and harmony in ways that you might have never ever known before, because you may have never actually enjoyed this kind of loving partnership before to the point where it has such obvious value to you, to the point where it makes you dizzy, like it's almost unbelievable, and yet it is true. So that's very, very harmonizing. That creates a tremendous sense of equilibrium and balance where in the relationship, it's almost like two kids in the park, beautiful, young, innocent, loving kids who are actually very deep, mature souls. And here in this lifetime, they're on a swing together and they realize, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. It's the process. I don't mean to make you seasick here, but we intimate, we separate, we intimate, we separate. I love you, I love you. I am loving, I am loved. Whoops, I am loving, I am loved. And it brings a sense of stability and harmony that's almost indestructible. That's how I feel it here for you, Taurus. So I'm happy to see that, where you understand that will be very generously received by the significant other, and you will be very generously rewarded by a significant other, which inspires you to do the same thing in reverse. So it becomes this literally this swimming motion, this like fish in the sea, this beautiful, beautiful thing where it goes like this perpetual motion. So it's falling in love, enjoying being each other, individual selves, and falling in love in and out, back and forth, and it's perpetual dance. It's really kind of beautiful in its own way, and it's very stabilizing. And you can enjoy moments of like, when they do like formal um, dance competitions where sometimes they do these epic things and like go like do 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 woo. Oh, and then it comes back to or maybe like those fancy ice skating things where these two very, very beautifully matched beings allow themselves to do stuff that is incredibly intimate and very, very beautiful, very magical to watch. And yet at the same time, they allow for moments of epic separation where you wonder, how are they going to get back together again? But they do, and it's so magic and beautiful. And because it's just like choreography, and you already know that it's going to work because you have invited that in as divine intervention, so to speak. You wish for it and you got it, and it's here, And there it is. So now you make the best of it, okay? I'm really happy for you, Taurus. Let's see where the momentum is here. I mean, who knows what this is? Wow. So it can put you in a state of, I feel it's like tripping you out big time. Like, be careful what you wish for sometimes. I know there's no Nine of Cups here, but with this energy here, the Seven of Cups, I'm really feeling like you are like real space cadet in some ways, and you just allowed yourself to go wild one day. You decided, I want the real deal. Dear angels from heaven, dear angels of love and healing, I want that. Just give it to me. Send it to me. I want it now. And now you've got it. It can be so trippy and disorienting that it almost like blows your mind, okay? Where you're realizing, oh my gosh, that little phrase they use on Tarot Illumination, it's sort of true. It's all about the healing power of love. The healing power of love. It really, really does cure all wounds. It is the ultimate medicine. It is the ultimate medicine. All this pain and suffering has a chance of being relieved. Maybe it'll take a long time because there's a tremendous amount of pain and suffering that has been endured, possibly by both of you, possibly from previous lifetimes. We don't know. But in the context of this relationship, it's very harmonious, it's very balanced, and it gets you to a point where you can freely and safely allow yourself to go into this like disembodied state where you can enjoy the what's the word I'm looking for, the experience of observing your life as this beautiful movie, uh, and you can live it at the same time. So it requires a tremendous amount of humility and grace and surrender to do that. But it's happening automatically. You didn't have to force this. I don't see any pain here. I don't see any suffering with the Hanged Man here. I see it as chosen and deliberate, and that you, Taurus, are perfectly capable of holding this posture for the time being in order to fully understand the significance of what is happening here. Because it's not something, this is not like an everyday typical love reading, okay? There's something very special here simply because of this. And it might take quite a while, quite some time to absorb it and fully understand what it really means and where it's taking you, Taurus. And that's okay. If you have to observe yourself from the great beyond and watch your life like a movie, in some ways that's a very, very sophisticated, advanced way of living. It's hard to do that all day, every day, because we really need to be here on planet Earth. But now and again, it's okay to let your spirit roam free and wild and allow yourself to be tripped out by what's happening and observe and recalibrate and realize, my gosh, this is real. I get the chance to love and be loved, to heal and be healed. You can be a very healing balm to another, and the other can be a very healing balm to you, where over time, all of these swords of pain and suffering, conflict gradually fall away and dissolve into nothingness, and you get the beautiful new horizon. Okay? So let's make the best of it, Taurus. I'm really happy for you. Glad I got to read for you. Please reinterpret however you want. This is your reading for you. And thanks for choosing Tarot Illumination. Bye-bye. Have a super October. Bye-bye. Oh, I'll just put this here. Yeah, just for reference. I screw up. I mess up sometimes. Sorry about the language. Bye.